Hello, Aaron Wills again, bringing you another reaction video that I started on Tuesday, the 8th day of October in 2024 at 2:45 p.m. Along with welcoming you to my channel, allow me to thank you for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe before sharing this video and turning on the post notification bell. Pretty please, and thank you so much. I'm gonna go to YouTube.com now. I'm gonna go do another Darell Brooks trial, because every time I do like a Hannah Lee Killer, like the last time I did a Hannah Lee Killer video, I got a copyright restriction and I got a copyright strike. And I don't want to get too many strikes, because after 3 strikes in a certain amount of time, they can take your channel for good. That's what happened to my last channel. I had 1,000 subscribers and they took my channel. They took my thumbs, Charlie. Here we go. Oh, what's going on? Remind me tomorrow. What is that? Why for YouTube.com. YouTube.com, click. There it is. I gotta go back to the Darell Brooks trial, because I keep getting copyright restrictions on Hannah Lee Killer's videos and Jenna Moressi's videos. So I didn't get any restrictions anytime I did this, so I'll do this. Oh. Alright, here we go. I'll make the screen a full screen. And I'll skip the ad. Oh, it's on break. Damn it. Alright.
Go for an exact timestamp, but I would say it was in the vicinity of 1.5 to 2 minutes.
I've never seen this part of the trial. I've watched a lot of this trial. I've never seen this video or even this part of the trial. I don't know who that officer is, and hopefully we'll find out more about it as this goes on, although we seem to have caught him right in the middle of his testimony. Diet Dr. Pepper. Cheers.
After you interviewed those 3 individuals, did you later gain any more information of the incident that you were investigating at that time?
I did not gain any further information regarding the specific fight that I was initially dispatched to, no.
And just so we're clear for the record, you did not talk to the plaintiff about testifying.
Objection. Say. Sustained.
Did you say vague? Were you contacted in any way by the plaintiff to testify here today?
Objection irrelevant.
Sustained.
Wow.
Do you know if there's even a plaintiff in this matter?
He started on this shit again. He claims that he can't be accused, or he can't be, what's the word? He can't be, what's the word? He can't be, the charges can be brought up against him. He can't be charged with a crime unless it's by someone, a person, not an entity. He keeps trying to prove that the state is an entity and that they can't bring up charges against him, which is not right. That's not the law. He doesn't care. He doesn't know. He's an idiot. So let's listen to this. Have you ever had a conversation with the prosecutor, with whatever?
I was contacted by the Waukesha County District Attorney's Office to testify in this case.
Do you know if that's the plaintiff in this matter?
That's what he's getting at now. He's trying to say that the state of Wisconsin is an entity, therefore they can't bring charges against him, which is not true, obviously.
Generally, in a criminal case, the plaintiff would be the state of Wisconsin. That is my assumption in this case, that the plaintiff is the state of Wisconsin.
So the state of Wisconsin is the plaintiff in this matter, to your knowledge?
That would be
the
correct,
answer.
yes.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Do you have any redirect?
Just very briefly, one question. You have been asked by Mr. Brooks if you did anything to further investigate the initial fights that you were dispatched to. Do you remember that question?
Yes.
Did you in fact relay to detectives who were working on this parade incident the information you had found out about the link between Erica Patterson and Darell Brooks?
Yes.
To your knowledge, did detectives then follow up?
To my knowledge, it's detectives that followed up on any further investigation regarding the fight itself.
Thank you. Nothing else.
All right, thank you, sir. You may step down.
We missed most of Darell Brooks' cross-examination. That's the fun part of this trial, is watching him cross-examine these witnesses. He's such a bozo. He shows his idiocy every time he cross-examines these witnesses. State's witnesses. Let's see what happens from here.
Oh, go ahead. You have your next witness.
Yes, I'd also like to move Exhibit 1C into the record, please.
Exhibit 1C is received.
Thank you.
Your objection is noted.
Can I state the grounds, if I may?
You may.
There's a point in the video that was shown, like, during the interview part between the officer and the three individuals where,
That's not the exhibit we're talking about.
well,
We're talking about 1C, which is the annotations to the map that were made that are captured by the annotation system that the state just moved in and the court received.
okay. I didn't understand what was being referred to. I was gonna bring this up, but I wanted to wait.
Sir, let's take it up outside the presence of the jury later on. You'll have to remind me later. I've already received the video, which is exhibit number 6.
That video has some language in it that you made an order on. So I just want to put that on the record. Something that you ruled.
Sir,
Six, she just
we'll
said.
take it up outside the presence of the jury. All right? I need to keep going on. Next witness, please.
The state will call Kyle Edwards.
All right, Mr. Edwards, please make your way to the witness stand, which is to my...
We might get to see the state's whole direct, and then Darell Brooks is and cross. That'd be fun. That's what makes this trial so addicting to watch.
Right, it is up a riser. When you get to the witness stand, please remain standing, raise your right hand, and my clerk Teresa will swear you in.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you're about to give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please be seated. First thing I will ask you to do is to state your first and last names for the record and then spell each.
Kyle Edwards, K-Y-L-E-E-D-W-A-R-D-S.
Thank you. Go ahead, your witness.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for being here. What city or town do you live in, sir?
At the time, Waukesha. Right now, I
Okay.
live in Pewaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay. So back in November of 2021, you lived here in Waukesha, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And I just want to ask you very briefly, do you have any medical training, sir?
I've been in the service for 17 years, so limited combat lifesaver, just basic army warrior tasks, that type of medical stuff.
Okay. And on November 21 of 2021, did you make plans to attend the Waukesha Christmas Parade?
Yes, ma'am.
And were you attending that parade with any family members?
Yeah, my wife and 2 kids at the time.
Okay. Did you travel to the area where the parade is being held by car?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you remember what road you may have taken to approach the parade area?
Yeah, we lived just east of Frame Park, so we crossed the river and then came up into the downtown area
Darell Brooks
using
will at some
North
point.
Street, East North Street.
Okay.
I'll probably stop.
And
Darell Brooks will at some point object, and he'll either say leading or hearsay. He always likes to say hearsay or leading. He doesn't know anything else. He doesn't know what any one of them means. He rarely gets his objections are rarely sustained, if ever. Well, I've seen a couple of them sustained, but that's when he gets lucky. Let's hear how many objections he comes up with in this examination.
was there a time when you came to the intersection of North Street and Barstow?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, at the corner of East North Street and Barstow, there was a stoplight there. So.
Okay. I'm going to put up a document that's been labeled as Exhibit Number 7. You'll get a chance to look at it on your screen first, sir. I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, could you, there we go, thank you. Do you see Exhibit 7 on the screen in front of you, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recognize what's shown in Exhibit Number 7?
I do, ma'am.
What do you see there, sir?
So that's the intersection we had stopped at. We were coming southwest on North Street, which at the time was a one-way, and stopped at the intersection of East North Street and Barstow with a gas station on our left.
Okay. Does the photograph in Exhibit Number 7 accurately represent that intersection to the best of your knowledge, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Move to admit and permission to publish Number 7, please.
Your position on that, Mr. Brooks?
Yeah, object.
Relevancy, he'll say.
Relevant.
Yep. Every time.
Objection is noted. It's overruled. Exhibit 7 is received. Permission to publish is granted.
Just wait for it to come up on the screen here for everybody to see. Okay. So the roadway is clearly marked as North Street, and the other roadway is clearly marked as Northwest Barstow Street. Do you see that, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
And then the big square kind of on the middle right-hand side of the exhibits is the gas station, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is actually a touch screen in front of you, so I'm going to ask you to please mark with an X where you were positioned on North Street. And North Street is a one-way street, is that correct, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
What's the direction of travel, if you could mark it in the spot, not near where we're going to need to point out other
Yeah.
things?
Yeah, so this is
Okay.
the one way.
Okay, perfect. And what about Barstow Street? Is that one-way or two-way, if you know?
I believe it's a two-way.
Okay.
I see Barstow.
And, did you stop at that intersection, sir? That's a controlled intersection?
Yes, we were stopped at the red light.
Okay. And you were in that left-hand lane. It's a two-lane street there? Or 3 lanes?
2 or 3. There might be. It looks like there's a turn lane there. So.
Okay. And so you're stopped at the lane closest to the gas station?
That's correct.
And what happened as you're sitting there, sir?
So about the same time as we were coming up to stop at the stoplight, there was a vehicle that made a left from Barstow onto the wrong way, to go to the wrong way on North Street. and stopped right up against our vehicle.
Okay, could you just draw the travel, the path of travel that you just described, please?
Yeah.
What kind of vehicle was this, sir?
It was a red SUV, kind of an older model.
Do you know maker model specifically or not really?
At the time, no,
Okay.
I wouldn't be able to say. Just a red SUV. So.
Okay.
Now I've seen part of the same test, not from him, but from another woman's perspective of the same situation. She was sitting, I think, next to him in traffic, and let's see if this. I'll tell you if this is the same bit of information that I heard before. Anyway, she said that the car next to her was sitting where the same thing he said, that this red SUV, which happens to be Darell Brooks' mother's Ford Escape that he was driving, went down the wrong way to turn into the gas station, and then he pulled right up to his hood to hood, face to face, if this is the situation. And then this guy here had to back up. Again, this is the same situation. This guy here had to back up while Darell Brooks was hanging out the window, waving his arms and yelling and cursing at him and whatnot. Let's see if this is it. Play.
And you've already indicated that's the wrong way to be going on North Street.
Correct.
What did you do when you saw this red SUV turning the wrong way into your path of travel?
We kind of approached that stop line at the same time, and so we were really with the other vehicle hood to hood, and again, my wife and 2 kids were in the car, and the.
Yeah, this is the testimony I heard from the woman that was next to him. And she said how they were hood to hood and how Darell Brooks hung out the window, was waving his arms and yelling shit. Let's see if he testifies to that as well.
Driver of the other vehicle kind of put up their hands. You know, I could see through the 2 windshields that the other driver put up their hands and was kind of gesturing wildly, like, again, I don't know if mouthing is the right word, but kind of frantically. It seemed upset at us that we were, either going the wrong way or. So I kind of did the same thing, just put my hands up and just kind of was confused because we were coming up to a stoplight and a car had approached us and was hood to hood.
Okay. Did you stay parked hood to hood or what happened?
Yes, that's the same testimony as the woman gave. That they were hood to hood, and this guy here, I guess, in the silver car, backed up, and then she went on, didn't see the rest of it. So let's see what he does. I think he just backed up and left. That's what she testified to, I believe. Let's see what he says.
The person in the other vehicle kind of made mention with like a knife hand to his right, my left, to go in maybe towards the gas station. He was kind of pointing to go into the driveway of the gas station. So I looked in my rearview mirror. There was no one parked behind me at the time, and other than that vehicle having to maybe back up into the intersection, I could see that they were motioning to go into the driveway of the gas station.
Okay. Can you point out the driveway, please, to the jury?
Yeah, it's just an open driveway here.
Okay.
So I put the car in reverse, backed up maybe 5 feet, and then the vehicle drove into the gas station.
Yeah, this is the same testimony the woman next to him gave. She was driving her car with her boyfriend's daughter in the car, her boyfriend's 5-year-old daughter in the car, to drop her off at the dance team she was with in the parade. And that same woman gives some pretty gruesome testimony about what this red SUV did next. That's what he says. I think he just backed up and then left, like a good civilian. Instead of getting mad and then going and run people over in a parade, he just left.
Parking lot.
Do you know who was driving that car?
Again, windshield to windshield, we were somewhat able to identify basic features. But when the car drove into the parking lot, it kind of stopped, positioned itself at an angle, and the driver rolled down the window.
Okay.
Should I draw where they stopped?
Sure.
So the vehicle drove in and kind of stopped on a diagonal like this.
All right. And you're still stopped at the stoplight?
Correct. Still stopped at the stoplight.
Okay.
So the other driver rolled down the window of their vehicle. I just, as a reaction, also rolled down the window of my, I don't know why, it's just a reaction of, so the other driver rolled down their window, maybe halfway, and stuck his head out and kind of looked back, and then he said, you know, why didn't you get out of the way? And I'm trying to get gas. And I said, well, it's a one-way.
Okay.
You're going the wrong way down the runway. Well, I'm telling you, I need to get gas. And I go, oh, okay, man. And then it was a green light, and then we proceeded. So.
Okay. Do you think you can identify the driver of that red SUV?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. Do you see that person present in this courtroom here?
I do, yeah.
Your Honor, I'm going to ask that Mr. Brooks be instructed to remove his mask temporarily.
Mr. Brooks, you're instructed to take off your mask temporarily and look up, please. Thank you.
So at the time, it was a lot more dark facial hair features and longer hair as well. So, because again, I would have saw through the windshield once, but then also with the window rolled down, kind of looking back. So maybe just like the forehead and then the long, you know, massive hair.
Sure. So different than he looks today with kind of a clean shaven or very short hairstyle
Yes,
and
ma'am.
scruff or stubble on his chin?
Yes, ma'am.
Never
But
identified.
you do think it was Darell Brooks that was driving that car based on seeing him in court here today?
I do, ma'am.
Okay.
Huh.
Did you continue on to the parade, sir?
Yes, we did, yeah.
And where did you and your family watch the parade?
We were literally on Broadway Street. So that was one of the streets that intersects at the 5 Points, intersects Main Street. And so it was really windy, so we wanted to kind of face away from the wind with the kids, so we were sitting on Broadway.
Okay. I'm sorry, I went back up one step before I leave the gas station. Did it appear to you as though Mr. Brooks was alone in the car?
Yes, it did.
You only saw one person in that car
That's correct.
at that?
Hearsay, he said. She's asking him directly.
The objection is overruled. His answer may stand.
Did you
He said
see
hearsay.
any
How
black
was that
female subjects walking in the area during this time?
He said hearsay. How was that hearsay whatsoever? Obviously it wasn't because it was overruled.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, now let's go back to the parade. You said you were near the 5 Points
Yes, ma'am.
and you were kind of positioned in area, try to get out of the wind, right?
Not out of the wind, but with our backs to the wind. Yes.
Okay. It was very windy that night, right?
Yes.
Overruled.
Did you see a red SUV go through the parade as you were watching it, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you remember seeing, sir?
It was from our left. It approached to right. The direct view in front of us, there were no floats or parade participants. It was kind of a gap in the parade entries.
Okay.
And so the vehicle approached from our left. There was somebody that flew through the air, and then it exited to the right of our perspective, and that's all we saw. So because we were a little bit, maybe a row or two back from the front of the parade, we didn't have a long view.
This Darell Brooks, by the way, is being accused of running over, as he has heard him say, running his car through the parade, killing 6 people, including 2 children, and hurting a dozen others.
View of it coming and it leaving. It was kind of an enter the frame of reference and then an exit pretty quickly.
Okay. But you did unfortunately see a person flying through the air?
Yes, ma'am.
Could you tell anything about the person as far as what group or unit they were with? If you know. If you don't know, that's okay.
No, it was just dark clothing.
Okay.
The objection is overruled. His answer may stand.
At that point, sir, near that 5 Points intersection, did you hear the horn of the SUV honking as it came through that intersection?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What did you do next?
We folded up our 2 kids in the chair, in the folding parade, lawn chair, and then got them back to the vehicle pretty quickly.
Okay.
And then my wife went to drive the kids home, and then I went back to help out with the craziness. So,
Okay. Why'd you go back to help?
it was just a reaction. I think I'll give credit to my wife. She handed me a couple diapers and a bottle of water and said, you gotta go back. So we were right there.
Okay.
So we went back.
And again, you have some limited first aid training, or perhaps more than basic training. You're have some good knowledge from your service in the armed forces, correct?
Basic Army wear tasks include medical training, so yes, ma'am.
Okay. Were you able to render aid to any individuals on Main Street?
There were 2, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions for you. Mr. Brooks may have some questions.
Mr. Brooks, oh,
Yep. Thank you, Ms. Basie. Could I please ask the clerk to make a screenshot and mark it as 1D, and then I would move to admit?
7B. Should be right.
Yes.
Actually, it will be 7A.
Thank you.
So that will be marked as 7A. Mr. Brooks, any position on that?
Yeah, I object to the relevancy of it. This what's on the screen right now? We talking about this?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see the relevance of this.
Your objection is
He objects to every exhibit the same thing. Relevancy, because he has no leg to stand on. He has no case whatsoever. And so he just has different objections that mean nothing. Like hearsay, when she asked this guy exactly what he saw, and he said hearsay. How is it hearsay? He has no concept of anything. And everything's leading. Relevancy, hearsay.
As noted, it's overruled. The court receives Exhibit 7A.
Permission
Do
to
you have any
publish.
questions for this witness?
Yes, I do. In your, a written statement and a statement that you gave to Officer Barron, would that be fair to say?
I don't remember the name of the officer that took my statement.
Would it be fair to say that you were interviewed by an officer, a female officer?
Yes.
And would it also be fair that you gave a written statement to that same officer?
I think I signed the statement that she wrote.
So it'd be fair to say that the officer wrote down what you told her?
Yes.
You're brilliant. How brilliant is that? What an idiot. What a fucking piece of shit idiot. That's all he is. And now he'll spend the next hundreds of years in prison.
And do you remember the date that interview took place?
A couple days after the parade incident.
Any reason why it wouldn't have been the same day as the parade?
I would assume that they were rendering aid to the victims of the incident, and it took a while to get back to anybody that had called in with any altercations, or not altercations, but interactions.
Do you recall stating in this interview that you saw the news and a picture of the male driving the said SUV?
I believe in the statement I said that I wanted to provide a description of who I had the interaction with before I saw any picture of anybody on the news.
So you never stated that since the incident and before the statement that you saw the news and the picture of the male?
I guess I don't understand the question.
In your statement that the officer wrote down. Well, let me back up. Did you see a picture of the alleged defendant on the news?
Yes, but not before I provided the description to the officer.
So the description that you gave, would that be the same officer that did the interview?
I called the evening of the incident. I called the non-emergency line and provided a description at maybe 10:30 that evening of the event, and then provided the same description to the officer, a few days later.
Do you recall why you called the non-emergency line for something that would have been so big that it should have been an emergency call?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained, please rephrase the question, Mr. Brooks.
Any reason why you would call the non-emergency line?
Someone going down a wrong way on a one-way street a few minutes before the parade didn't seem like an emergency compared to what had happened at the parade.
So, would it be fair to say that you were then reporting someone going down the wrong way, trying to get into the gas station at that time?
At what time?
At the time that you called the non-emergency number?
I wanted to report that I had seen someone in a red SUV going the wrong way down one way before the parade, and the possibility that it was connected to the red SUV that I had seen drive through the parade.
Now what?
So, that non-emergency report, as you state, would have been to make a possible connection between the two incidents?
I was just reporting what I had seen.
So at that time, would it be fair to say you weren't sure if there was a connection?
I would say that I had a red SUV 5 feet from my hood, and then I saw a red SUV drive through the parade and wanted to, notify the police that I had seen that.
So at the time, were you sure that there was a connection?
Pretty sure, yes.
And what would have made you pretty sure?
The color of the SUV, the approximate age of the SUV, the timing between the 20 minutes of where I was in Waukesha to the 25 minutes later that I had seen the red SUV go through the parade.
Yeah. You stop where you are, idiot. You have no case, no leg to stand on. You're just making things worse for yourself because you don't know what questions to ask.
Would it be fair to say that you just described the SUV that made the wrong turn going into the gas station as an older model? I think that was your correct words. Is that fair?
Yes.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't be able to make the connection between the older model SUV that you saw going into the gas station and the one that you saw in the parade?
No, they were a similar age. I guess older subjective. I mean, it was a similar age, the one I saw before the parade and the one I saw during the parade.
So it'd be fair to say that you weren't exactly sure.
I'm pretty sure they were the same vehicle.
Do you recall in your statement saying that you were 95% sure?
That sounds right, yes. 95%. I would give that same percentage, yes.
Why would you not be 100% sure if you say that you believe that they were the same vehicle?
What the hell is this guy talking about? He's such a moron.
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained, please rephrase the question, Mr. Brooks.
I guess I'll say it like, what put any doubt in your head that they weren't the same vehicle?
I wasn't able to see the driver of the person going through the parade because it was moving so fast. So I guess there's a very, very small chance that the red SUV I saw beforehand happened to be a similar year, make, and model and color of the SUV that I saw go through the parade.
So you weren't exactly sure who was driving the SUV in the
Asked
parade.
and answered.
Correct.
Do you recall in the statement that the officer wrote down? Do you recall telling the officer that was writing the report that you're 95% sure the male you saw prior to the parade at the gas station was the one?
What happened? Did I stop it?
On driving through the parade route?
As far as I would not be able to identify who was driving through the parade route because the vehicle was moving too fast.
Do you recall saying that his voice was the same?
Yes. So when the second interview had taken place, again, I wanted to provide the description to the officer, the visual description the night of. But just as I did now, I'm 95% sure that the interaction that I had prior to the parade was with you.
Who do you refer to when you say you?
You idiot.
Whatever your name is.
So you don't know the alleged defendant's name?
I do, yeah.
The alleged. He always refers to himself as the alleged defendant. You're not the alleged defendant, you are the defendant. You allegedly did it, but you are the defendant. There's no question about that. There's no alleged. You are the defendant. You allegedly did these things, but you are the defendant, idiot.
Would it be safe to assume that if you couldn't see who was driving the SUV in the parade route, that you also couldn't identify if it was the same voice?
The voice has nothing to do with the driver of the vehicle driving the parade. Again, it was moving too quickly. I wasn't able to identify the driver when I saw the vehicle going through the parade.
So would it be safe to assume that you got the description from the news and picture of the person that you seen on the news?
The person and the voice that I saw in the news matched who I interacted with prior to the parade.
But just so we're clear for the record, there was no way you saw who was driving the vehicle in the parade route?
Correct.
Going back to the interaction at the gas station, do you recall telling the interviewing officer that the driver of that vehicle rolled down the window to say, "I'm almost out of gas"?
Yes.
Do you recall backing your vehicle up to let the driver of that car into the gas station?
I
Yes.
said that.
Do you remember how far you backed up?
5
Irrelevant.
feet.
Do you remember telling the reporting officer who was writing down your statement that it was 10 feet?
5 to 10 feet.
Was it 5 feet?
Anybody nitpicking over a few feet? Now you defended yourself beautifully because he backed up 5 feet instead of 10 feet. Wow, brilliant. You're really doing a good job going per se, you fucking moron.
Feet or 10 feet.
It was enough to let the vehicle into the gas station.
So would it be safe to say that you don't recall?
It would be safe to say it's between 5 and 10 feet.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
After your initial non-emergency call, it was the night of the parade that you made the non-emergency call, correct?
Yes.
Do you recall how long after that you were being interviewed by law enforcement?
A few days.
Did you try to attempt to call and report again?
Yes, I think so. I think I'd called again maybe a day or two later, just because again it was when I first called the night of. They seemed to be pretty busy, so I called a day or two later just to make sure that anybody had taken down the statement that I had made the night of, and then it was a couple days later that the officer came out to interview me.
Would it be fair to state that at that time you were still seeking to report what had happened at the gas station?
That's correct.
So you weren't seeking to report any connection between the gas station incident and what you saw on the parade route?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled. He may answer.
I was calling to report what I had seen before the parade.
And the second reporting was before you actually were interviewed, correct? Just so we're clear for the record.
What do you mean by the second reporting?
The second time that you called to make a report about the gas station incident, that was before you ultimately were interviewed by law enforcement.
That's correct. The second call was just to make sure that they still had my name, and I didn't really file a formal report that second time. It was just a call to see that they still had my name and contact info, and they had said that an officer would be out eventually to interview.
At that time, when you called to make sure that they still had your name on file or your report about the gas station incident, at that time, had you made any connection to that incident and what you saw at the parade?
I'm going to object. We've been through this.
Sustained. It's been asked and answered. Mr. Brooks, I draw your attention once again to 90611.
Noted.
Next topic, please.
Noted. And were you subpoenaed by the state of Wisconsin to testify here today?
This is where he'll go on about how he'll say, have you talked to the state of Wisconsin? Do you see the state of Wisconsin in the room today? Have you ever talked to the state of Wisconsin? He's trying to suggest that you can't be charged by an entity, you have to be charged by a person. And that's just not true. So, listen, that's what he's getting at. Have you ever talked to the state of Wisconsin? Do you see the state of Wisconsin in the room today?
I was either the state or the county. I received a letter from the county.
Did they identify as the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Do you see the state of Wisconsin in the courtroom today?
Objection, Your Honor, vague.
Sustained.
To the best of your knowledge, do you know if the state of Wisconsin is the plaintiff in this matter?
Objection, irrelevant.
Sustained.
Have you ever had any interaction with the
Stop
state
this
of
video.
Wisconsin?
Objection, irrelevant.